In today's episode, I'll be giving my reaction to the Survivor Season 47 finale, Episode 14, titled The Last Stand. So let's dive right into The Last Stand. Do something, man. People are questioning you. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the dub. I know this reaction is coming very late, almost over 3 weeks after the Survivor finale. That's on me. If you're watching this video, I appreciate you. Just had a lot going on with vacation, the holidays, was not able to sit down and record this podcast, so wanted to continue. We've done every episode reaction, so let's dive right into it. At the end, I'll go through our new era season rankings from 41 to 47, what I think is the best and worst seasons. But before that, we got to recap this episode. So let's jump right into part 2 of the finale, which, looking at this scheduling decision, I think it was honestly a pretty bad decision by CBS to do this. I mean, all the air was out of the room, especially when we saw Genevieve go home in the final 5 in last week's episode. It just felt like it was really Rachel's game to lose at this point, and especially considering the results of how it happens, like this just spoke out to me as what was going to happen. But anyways, we have Jeff doing the finale walk again. I thought this kind of killed what the kids call the aura of the moment. I mean, you had him in the first part of the finale do the breakdown of the top 6. Now he does it again for the top 4. Clearly, they just filmed both of those and were like, all right, we'll just use it because we don't really have much to use in this second part of the finale. But I think if you're going to stick with this 2-part finale in the future, choose one. We can't have Jeff doing the pre-finale talk both times. It kind of just ruined it for me. Yeah, it also just felt like a waste of time this episode. So if you're going to do it, either do it this episode or the episode before. Teeny says this is the highest high of her entire 23-year-old life. Originally, I just turned 24 actually, but originally I was kind of criticizing this, but being on Survivor, dude, if I was on Survivor, I'm thinking about it now when I'm on. It's going to be the highest high of my life. So I ended up turning on that, but there's got to be some other moments that are up there for Teeny. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, so we have the immunity challenge basically right away. Rachel almost gets it and then does get it. She ties the record for the most immunity wins for a woman, and wins the game pretty much from this point on. I mean, it was pretty obvious. I mean, we'll talk about some people's final tribal performances, but this just felt like a shoe-in for Rachel, especially she ties Chrissy Hoffbeck and Jenna Maraska and other. I think there's Parvati, maybe one or two other people in there. Already, I thought this finale was off to a horrible start, just very anticlimactic. You're trying to make a TV product, make it interesting to see who's going to win, but we just kind of felt like we knew who won right away. Although Sam had 2 chances very close to get the immunity, but ultimately blew it. Rachel is just a beast. I'll give her credit for being a physical immunity beast. I mean, you look at the people in this season. I mean, even like I ended up watching the season previews a lot. TK was talking about weightlifting competition. He was on the second one out. Like, I think the people you'd expect to do physically well didn't really do much. And like you had Kyle and Rachel kind of emerge out of nowhere. Surprised to both of them, especially Rachel. She wins the game because she's just immune from the final 8 on. And Rachel does know her stuff too. I mean, she knows all the people she ties the record with. She says it to Jeff, so that was a cool moment there. Rachel ties the record. I wonder if that record will one day be broken, the woman immunity record, but who knows. So they get back to camp, and Rachel has the decision with only 4 people left in the game. Who's she going to bring along with her to the final tribal council, and who's she going to put in the fire making competition? It's sometimes, I feel like in the past couple seasons it has been very anticlimactic on who they're bringing with them. They're just like, yeah, I'm taking this person, you guys go duel it out. Like, there's no really need for a third person to try and make fire. So Rachel follows suit with that. She declares Sam versus Teeny in fire. She'll be bringing Sue along with her. I think this is the right decision. I think a lot of people slept on Teeny's win prospects. Yes, they really didn't have anything go right for them the whole game, but I think they were more respected than Sue, as we obviously saw play out. So I think this ended up being the right decision. I mean, I wouldn't trust myself bringing along Sam to the final. Like, I feel like that's a pretty risky move. Like, he could just have fans on the jury. I mean, he has Ciara, he has Genevieve. Like, that's already potentially 2 votes. Andy. So I think that's the right move, bringing Sue. You lose Teeny or Sam. Like, ultimately, it's going to be Teeny, but it felt like this was the right move to make because Sue was kind of just disregarded by the jury. So we have Teeny's one-way rivalry with Sam continue. She's frustrated with him being arrogant. Sam's like, "Don't let me go to Fire," even though he's never practiced Fire before coming on Survivor. Rachel's coaching Teeny at Fire, so that was nice from Rachel. I mean, obviously you would want Teeny to win over Sam. I wonder if Teeny would have got a vote if, the way Sam did in the final tribal. At this point, I don't think so. It seemed like Kyle just kind of liked Sam a lot, and that's why he gave him the vote. But um, yeah, I mean, if you have a dog in the fight, might as well coach. I guess Rachel's like this fire god, but I feel like fire is something you can't really. I mean, you can coach and say as much as you want, but at the end of the day, it's like this person has to make the fire, you know. Um, and yeah, we find out Sam has no idea what he's doing. He never even practiced fire before going out. The first second I get a casting call for Survivor, I'm making fire in my backyard for like 2 days straight. Like that's the one thing you need to know. I respect the people. I also think Genevieve didn't know fire at all. I respect those people because it's like what's the chances I'm gonna be the one person of the two of the 18 people on this cast that make fire, you know? But I think it's a necessary skill to have. So props to Sam because he ends up winning without knowing shit about fire. He gets motivated from his letter that he has from home from his dad. That was nice to see that moment where he's able to look at that letter again from the family loved one visits, clock back in, get ready for this game. Let's go make fire. Let's go win this ball game. Um, and so yeah, Teeny and Sam's rivalry continues, and the tribal council, Teeny just says she's mad at Sam for being a man. You know, I think a lot of people in my shoes would be like, "Fuck Teeny," like she's just being like anti-men or whatever. But at least she admits it. Like she's just openly admitting how she feels and what she feels about Sam. So I appreciate that from Teeny, keeping it real, like being honest. I think honesty is good, and not in the game of Survivor, but in life. Like I think it's very respectable that she just admits that straight up, where she's not trying to like hide it behind some sort of other narrative or whatever. So I didn't mind that much. Um, this fire making challenge is maybe the best fire making challenge ever, just in terms of closeness. I mean, I feel like some of them end up being pretty close, but Teeny was so close because you have the wire that you need to hit and to get the fire to extinguish. But Teeny was right there the whole time. Sam comeback season just slowly builds that fire. The wind is fucked. And you know, Teeny might even be my one of my least favorite players in this whole season. That was bullshit, bro. The wind is the way you lose Survivor. Like, this is the dumbest challenge ever. Ben won already. That's why you introduced it. That should have been a one-off thing. This should not be a fire-making challenge. Like, go to a final two if you need to do votes. Like, isn't this what Jeff wants? It's the small tribes making votes. It's like the fire-making challenge is so awful, but it's just something we're stuck with. If you go on Survivor, you could play the most perfect game ever, and your game could be done because of wind. Like that could legitimately happen. I think that's really stupid. Closest fire making challenge ever. I think Jeff said that blows for Teeny. Like if I was Teeny that night, I'd be have to get hammered or like I don't know. That just wow, that was tough. Even for someone who openly, I don't think Teeny is one of my favorite players from this season, but just a brutal end for Teeny's game. So Teeny gets a nice ending. They give her the kind of like fallen angel. Usually the person who loses fire, they give this to. Jeff smells good. I guess that's something we needed to know. He probably actually showers, and like the rest of you guys who don't have access to a shower, so maybe that's something there. So we get to the final three. It's Sue, Rachel, and Sam. Pretty predictable final three. I think a lot of people were on that. I mean, maybe some people were spoiled due to a contestant on this cast spoiling it, but Sue is turning 59 on the day of the final tribal council, so good for her. Happy birthday to Sue. She's out there doing her thing. I think 59 is pretty old for Survivor, so respect to her making the final tribal council. Sam, when they get their nice little breakfast, has his first ever watermelon. Like, bro, what was this guy eating when he grew up? You're not eating watermelon. Where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Tennessee? They don't eat watermelon in Tennessee. Like, I just and he says he doesn't love it. How do you not like watermelon? Like watermelon's so easy to like. It's one of the best fruits. Summertime, especially in the heat, like watermelon hits, bro. I think he's just really picky, and I can't say too much because I used to be a very picky eater as well. But come on, Sam, like let's clock in, bro. So now they slowly, what's slowly causing the popularity to rise again is they're slowly putting stuff back in. I mean, this season we had the jury walking back in after they got to sit down. Now we have kind of the fallen comrades. So the jury is all talking before the final tribal about their opinions on the final three, while the final three kind of eulogize the fallen comrades. I mean, it's not like the old way where you'd walk in to go see somebody and go to their little site of them getting voted out. But I do like them saying a couple words about them, and I especially like the jury. They've kind of thrown that in since I think 43 or 42. It would have to be 43, I think. The jury kind of gives their pitch for each person. Obviously, they just asked all the jury members to say what they think about the one person, and then they just kind of splice together what sounds good. I did take note of who said what, or who was vouching for who. So Sierra was vouching for Sam, Sol was vouching for Rachel, Gabe was vouching for Sue, Kaya was vouching for Sam, Caroline was vouching for Sue, Andy was vouching for Rachel, and Genevieve was vouching for Rachel, and Tina was vouching for Sam. So it was really a 3-3-2 vote if we were going to go based off this. Obviously, it didn't end up being like that, but I kind of like that. It made it seem like there was some intrigue. I think the Sue stuff was kind of just like her allies were kind of gassing her up, obviously, but I thought that made for some good intrigue before the final tribal council. Right when we go to our final tribal council, we have Sue's age reveal, which is funny looking at the preview. She's like, I'm going to tell everyone I'm 59, I kicked your asses, and then she says it in real life. Oldest woman, she'd be the oldest woman to win Survivor. The jury, honestly, I thought would be a little more surprised, because if they were actually believing that she was 45, I haven't seen anything postseason come out that they didn't believe she was 45, but they did not seem surprised at all that she was 59 and old, so maybe Sue got to do a better job, get more Botox or something. Nah, just kidding, I love you, Sue, but I thought they'd be more surprised by that, and that was kind of like her big reveal. Maybe she pulled that too quick. I think it's kind of like the midway through is when you want to do it, but that's all. Pretty much that's it for Sue, the rest of it. So the jury is impressed by Rachel explaining her funeral and how she sneaked up on the players on the beach, Teeny and them having that conversation. Sam is actually bringing up some valid points in retaliation to Rachel. I thought Sam had one of the best tribal councils, or final tribal councils of the new era, like straight up. It didn't seem like he really had a chance, but they all say they're running open-minded, so I thought Sam did a good job fighting for his potential win. Andy bringing up Ben Driebergen and Mike Holloway in comparison to Rachel, that was hilarious. I wonder what Jeff thought of that, but yeah, I think Rachel's game is not very good, just because she needed immunities. I think, and the thing is, she would have gone home if she didn't have those immunities. Like, there's a difference between like Tony in Winners of War, he won immunities, but he wasn't going home. You know what I mean? Rachel would have gone home at one of those points where she had immunity. So yeah, I think Rachel's win's pretty flawed. I think she's in the back, like 30s maybe. I don't know. I haven't done a proper ranking, so I'm not gonna talk about my ass. So Sue's through line gets through about telling people she beat all their asses, even from the preview. I think if I had to vote at this tribal council, I'd vote for Sam. I think Sam's game is the most impressive of the three. Rachel depended on immunities. Sue kind of just was a follower for most of the game. I thought Sam actually did stuff to direct his game. I mean, we saw Operation Italy. He was a big part of that. He kind of got edited out of that because they like Rachel, or they like Genevieve and Andy, but he was an essential part to that as well. He flipped the game on Genevieve, who was the biggest one of the top two targets in the last round. Never voted wrong. Like, I think Sam had a pretty respectable game. I would have voted for Sam personally, but obviously the people out there are king, and they speak in complete opposite of me. It's a 7-1 Rachel vote. Only vote for Sam was Kyle, as mentioned before. So Rachel wins almost unanimously, 7-1. That's a pretty standard new era vote, is the 7-1 final vote. Pretty boring after show. Honestly, nothing really of note. The only thing I remember is them talking about Andy's meltdown at the mat. I think we'll see Andy on season 50, but yeah, I think maybe the worst after show, and that's saying a lot because these after shows are pretty bad. So that's it. Survivor season 47. Honestly, a pretty good season. I think this 3-run stretch of Survivor is bringing back what we love about Survivor. Season 45 was a banger. Season 46 was a banger. Season 47 was a banger. So hoping best for 48. Apparently the rumor out there is that they like 48 more than they like 47, but they liked other seasons that people didn't like at all. So hoping best for 48. That preview looked good. We need to get back to actually having a good preview, so I did appreciate that. So now, instead of doing my top 3 to win, because obviously we know who wins and top 3 out next, let's do our season ranking of the new era. So we have 7 seasons to get through. I'll go from what's more intriguing, going from best to worst or worst to best? I'll go worst to best. So starting at the bottom, we have season 43. Now, granted, some of these have sentimental ties. Like season 43, I was abroad. wasn't really locked in as much as I would be on a regular Survivor season. But I thought this is easily the most boring season of the show so far in the new era. Every vote out was like pretty straightforward. Besides the Cody blindside at the end, just felt like there wasn't a lot of intrigue. And then Gabler as a winner, I felt like wasn't properly explained. I do respect the win and them switching it up with the edit, but the season overall just didn't make a lot of sense. And there's not really a lot of memorable moments outside of the Jesse's blindside on Cody. So I'm leaving season 43 at the bottom. Second worst I have is season 44. This one is something that ages horribly. I think if you go back and listen to my season 46 finale where I ranked the seasons after that, 44 might have been one or two higher. What happened in season 44? Like they were just so happy-go-lucky. It was not really like I mean, I had high sentimental values of that because it was my last year or last semester of college. I would just watch Survivor, go out, and then or drink a lot after that and have a good night. It was always a good night on a Wednesday night, but yeah, I think season 44 does not hold up well at all. It's kind of just dominated by the Tika 3. I mean, I like Jam Jam. I liked Carson at the time. I liked Carolyn, but it's like over time, this season's kind of just like meh. So I got season 44 as the second lowest season. Third lowest season is the first season of the new era, season 41. Honestly think there's some pretty good moments in season 41, like the Liana trying to use the knowledge as power. I liked Xander, I liked the Shan and Ricard dynamic. Like I thought that was really interesting TV, especially for the pre-merge, but it was just too much stuff about the other stuff in the game that was taking over. Obviously, it's a new era of Survivor, so they had a lot of stuff to explain. The Erica win wasn't really well explained, in my opinion, but it was a likable group of characters. I mean, never forget Rancher Brad, JD. Like there were some dogs in there. Just was more focused on the game plan, explaining the mechanics of that because it was a whole new game from season 40. So that's where I land season 41. Next one I have is its brother season 42. Season 42 was a lot better than season 41 to me. It just felt like with all the rule changes out of the way, we got this crazy season where Marianne pulls off some crazy moves at the end. Like every week was a new blindside. Like we're kind of game body where you go for like the high to Drea to Omar stretch, but it was fun. Like season 42 was fun. That was a fun cast of characters as well. I think I got that slightly over 42. Less gameplay explanations, just more voting and strategizing. Some also crazy tribal councils. You had the Daniel refusing to switch his vote tribal council, the Drea and Marianne play their idol tribal council, the Omer blindside. Like season 42 had some pretty good moments. That lands right in the middle right now. That's the median season. And like I mentioned before, the most three recent seasons I think are the best three new seasons of the new era. So at number 3 I have this season 47. When you compare this for 46, I think 46 had way higher highs. So season 47 I think was just kind of like a steady, and then operationally it was lit, but I think like season 47 was just steady along. Like there wasn't any really crazy moments, but it was just solidly good throughout. So yeah, 46 is what I have second. I think 46 had higher highs. There's just more stuff going on. 46 has the worst stretch of the new era, the pre-merge Banu era. But even within that, I thought Banu was a funny character, and seeing him and the way he interacted with everyone. I got season 46 number 2, which means season 45 is number 1. I just think 45 was classic Survivor. It was like a flashback to the old days. You had Dee, like a great winner. Her dynamic with Austin was really interesting. Jake was, a good Charlie Brown figure. Katera, like there was just a bunch of characters in the season. Bruce, Emily, Drew. Like I just loved season 45. I think that's the best season of the new era so far. So I got 45, then 46, 47, 42, 41, 44, and then season 43 is last. So what would you guys change that order? This is not our last season 47 video. I got a tier list. I'm going to drop that separately. Season 47 tier list. Survivor off-season content. I have a Survivor Season 50 Dreamcast that I'll put out there. The rumbling is starting to happen, guys. It's time. Season 50. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking of it, but we'll be back covering Season 48, Season 49, and when the Season 50 cast drops as well, I'll have a reaction for that. So plenty to stay tuned for in the off-season of Survivor. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to stay tuned, like and subscribe for more content. We got more shows coming on the way, more movies. Yeah, sorry for the wait. Really have only been doing the NFL stuff the last couple of weeks, but we're back on track now. Everything should be going well. So grind starts now. Let's get back to potting. So yeah, see you next time for the Survivor 47 tier list. As always, be easy.